should sound the same, but who knows? So tell me what you think. This, for reference, is the regular gray fluffy mic cover. Okay, so for tonight's case, we are traveling on over to California. Shout out to all my friends in California. This case just occurred last week, and it is the case of Danny Masterson, who you may recognize as the guy who played Hyde on that 70's show. Trigger warning. This case is about RAPE, and I am going to mostly refer to that as SA, for reasons that most of you understand. But the trigger warning is that if you are sensitive to that subject, then I recommend you do not watch. Okay, so let's start with some background on Danny Masterson. He is currently 47 years old. He was born on Long Island in March of 1976. He had two parents by the names of Carol and Peter Masterson. He grew up in the towns Albertson, Garden City, and East Williston, New York, which are all on Long Island. He had one full sibling and three half-siblings. Several of his siblings were actors, just as he was. One of them, in fact, his full brother, Christopher Masterson, played Francis on Malcolm in the Middle. So, he became a child model beginning at age 4, and by age 5, he started filming TV commercials, such as Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Hardee's, Hostess, Tang, and Clearasil. He had appeared in over 100 commercials. He also starred in musicals at the age of 8 and began acting as well. He had roles in the movie Beethoven's Second and the TV show Sybil. Masterson is one of the most celebrated members of the Church of Scientology. Now, I just want to give you a definition of Scientology that I got from the internet. Scientologists believe that people are immortal alien beings who have forgotten their true nature and are trapped on Earth in a human body. Scientologists lawsuit was dismissed by an LA judge because 3 of the 4 plaintiffs had signed arbitration agreements with the Church of Scientology that forfeited their rights to sue the organization. The judge said they must take their claims before an ecclesiastical tribunal composed of 3 Scientologists deemed to be in good standing with the church. So he's saying you cannot try this case in court. You have to try it with the church itself. Which actually meant that Danny Masterson could be one of the people who was on the tribunal. Maybe some people said that wouldn't have been him, but anyway. Apparently, though, this was overturned by another judge, and so the case can still be heard. But I don't believe that it has been to trial as of yet. But the SA trial did take place. So let's get to that. On June 17th of 2020, Danny Masterson was charged with 3 counts of SA. He was charged with SAing a 23-year-old woman in 2001, a 28-year-old woman in early 2003, and a 23-year-old woman in late 2003. Now, he pleaded not guilty. His defense attorney claimed that these women had colluded together prior to going to speak to the LAPD. So I believe he was suggesting that they were all just trying to get a story together so that they could sue him and potentially get money. Danny Masterson remained free on a $3.3 million bail until the trial, and the judge had said that the discussion of the church would be limited at trial because this was not a trial against the church, but rather it was a trial against Danny Masterson. And they were also warned not to really go into potential drugging because, as I will explain later, all of the women said that they were drugged and then essayed, but there was no evidence, like no toxicology reports. So they were only really allowed to allude to the fact that they were drugged. They could not specifically say that he had drugged them. The trial began on October 11th, 2023, and Masterson did not testify nor call any witnesses in his defense. But there were plenty of witnesses on the other side, I'll tell you that. Danny's lawyer attempted to paint a picture where, as I said before, these women colluded together to come out with a story, and that there were a lot of inconsistencies between their initial reports and what they would later say happened. And he also emphasized the fact that there was no photographic evidence of any of this. So basically, as far as I could see, the only evidence is just what these women would say. these women were, and all of the incidents happened at Danny's house. So, she was hanging out with Danny, and who was a friend of hers. She had 1 or 2 grapefruit juice and vodka drinks and became very intoxicated. Then she went with Danny back to his house, where she planned on sleeping in the guest room. But allegedly, Masterson, quote, pulled her up the stairs to the master bedroom. She laughed it off at first, and she was feeling very fuzzy. They had sex. And then he flipped her over and forcibly performed another sex act that she did not consent to. She attempted to fight back, but injured her back in the process. She didn't file any charges for that. But allegedly, he essayed her again 9 months later. It was April of 2003, and they were out celebrating a friend's birthday. She ended up staying at his house because she lost the keys to her friend's place where she was planning on staying that night. Masterson served her a drink that was red and fruity with vodka. This was her first drink of the evening. She drank less than half of it and became very disoriented. She claims that Masterson grabbed her by the wrists and physically demanded that she get into the jacuzzi. She didn't want to, and she told him no, but he ignored her, and he said, quote, "You have 15 seconds. She struggled to get her boots off and get into the jacuzzi. She was struggling to breathe, she couldn't stand, she couldn't keep her eyes open, and she was nauseous. Danny allegedly told her that he was going to take her upstairs and put his finger down her throat to make her vomit. So they went up to the bathroom, and she wound up getting sick in the toilet. And Danny said to her, quote, "You're disgusting, you vomited everywhere." He then put her in the shower, where she passed out and woke up to him touching her inappropriately. Later, he took her to his bedroom, where she woke up to his full weight on top of her, and he was having sex with her. She claimed that she took a pillow and tried to push him off of her with the pillow, but he wound up grabbing the pillow and trying to smother her with it. She wound up passing out from the pillow while he was still essaying her. She also reported that he took out a gun and threatened her not to move or tell anyone about this. So initially she didn't tell anyone, but ultimately she went to tell a Master at Arms, which is an ethics officer in Scientology. It was 2 days later that she went to see this person because her friends and family noticed bruises on her body, and they encouraged her to go report it. But his response was, quote, still essayed her in the shower and bed, and she later vomited. According to the jury foreman, the panel of 6 men and 6 women leaned towards acquitting Masterson on all counts because they found the testimonies to be inconsistent and implausible. For example, one of them said that he threatened her with a gun during the attack, but never mentioned it in the police report. So they wound up being deadlocked, and a mistrial was declared in November of 2022. So the case was retried in April and May of 2023, and on May 31st, Danny Masterson was convicted of 2 of the 3 counts of SA. The third woman was, I believe, the one that was his girlfriend. That's the one that they didn't get a conviction on. For that one, the jury was hung 8-4 in favor of conviction. So he was remanded to custody without bail until sentencing, which has not occurred yet. And there is a hearing set for August of 2023. He faces 30 years to life in prison, and he was incarcerated at the Men's Central Jail in Los Angeles, California. And that is the case. What do you think? I will tell you some of my thoughts. Of course, my heart goes out to all of the victims in this case. So I guess the question here is, did he do it? Well, he was found guilty of 2 of the 3 counts. So, do I think he did it? I mean, there will be people on both sides, I am sure, okay? So, but I am going to say that, in my opinion, he probably is guilty as charged. And probably of the third as well, although he was not convicted for that one. So, assuming that he did do what he was convicted of, why did he do it? This is one of those ridiculous things. It's like, here's a guy, he's got a great life, he's got lots of money, a wonderful career. He could get women. You know what I mean? Like, I don't imagine that it was very hard for him to find a girlfriend or a woman to, date or anything. But why did he need to do what he did? Well, it's about the need for power, control, amongst other things, I'm sure. I mean, surely someone who does that has no conscience, has no empathy. And where did that come from? Why? As they always say, SA is not really about sex, right? It's about power. It is just so awful that the church looked the other way, almost made it so that this was okay, saying if you are, with the person, like dating the person or married to the person, then you should be giving them sex whenever they ask for it anyway. That is so wrong. Now, I don't know enough about Scientology to sit here and criticize the religion. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying from what I heard, I certainly disagree with their reaction to the reports that the women made. And I assume that these 3 women are no longer in that church. I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah, I'm 100% sure they're not in that church anymore. So, I think some people would have a problem with the fact that the first victim that I discussed, JB, went back to him after she says she was essayed one time. She says she went back again months later and wound up getting essayed a second time, and people will say, well, if it really happened like that, why did you even go back to spend a minute with him again in your life? Why? It can be very difficult to wrap your head around that scenario, but I would imagine that after it happened the first time, she might have felt a little bit unsure of what really happened. You know, she said